Welcome back, guys, to Java Space. So today we're going to look at actuator MeterRegistry, and we're going to specifically look at timer. So in the previous lectures, we talked about matrix types. We talked about dimensional matrix and hierarchical matrix, and we saw how dimensional matrix have advantage over hierarchical matrix. So as I said in the previous lecture, going forward we are going to be coding the matrix ourselves. So we want to generate our own custom matrix. So there are several ways of achieving that, and I promised from the previous lecture that I'm going to show you the bad way, and I'm also going to show you the most recommended way of taking custom metrics. So let's dive in. So as you can see, I have a controller here. It's called quiz controller. So the first thing that you notice here is that I have explicitly declared two timers here, and also I'm creating them here using the MeterRegistry. If you remember from the previous lectures, I mentioned that this is a bin that would be generated and configured for you by Spring every time you add Spring actuator in the class path. So you're just going to use it and create these two timers. So from here you can already see that we have these two timers with the same name, but they have different text. The last tag is different. This one is quiz summary, this one is level summary. So what do we want to achieve? We want to time this method. So that means if I find all the quizzes in a level, we want to time this method call. So already we have intruded our controller by doing this. It's like now our controller is doing many things. As you can see, it's dealing with request handling, is also now dealing with taking metrics. So we have intruded this controller in a way. So this is intrusive code. There is no separation of concern. The situation is further aggravated if now we want to add some code here. Since the part of code that we want to monitor is this one, it would mean that we have to wrap that code inside a code that do some form of timing. So what I'm going to do, I will copy this code and use the first timer, quiz timer. So what do we want to do? We want to record a timer. So as you can see, this record takes many functional interfaces, but the one that we want to use is the one that takes a supplier, which means when you are done timing, we want to return something. So if you are familiar to lambda expression, this is a simple definition of a supply. So I'm done. This is what you do. So you have wrapped that code around. So let's see what the IDE says. We can even take it further too. Put that object.required null outside of that recording of the time. So we are done here. We have implemented a time, which means every time this endpoint is called to retrieve all the quizzes in a level, we're gonna be timing the service call for that particular method. But as I said, what we have done here is against a principle of separation of concern, because now our controller is doing many things. At all of the same, we are going to leave it like this, and I'm going to run this code. All right, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my Postman. I'm going to call that control that has a timer, that handler endpoint that has a timer implemented. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now let's see the metrics that this timer has gathered for us. So let me just not save this. I'm just gonna take it off. Don't save. Let's see. Okay, this one also. Don't save. All right. So if we first query metrics, obviously, and then we search quiz, we see that quiz timer has been added for us. As we said in the previous lecture, that these custom metrics are also added in this endpoint. So if I go ahead here and type quiz.timer and say send, so this is what we get. We see we have called it 10 times, and this is the total time, and this is the max time. We can even go ahead to use some tags. So I can say tag equals to source, and what is that source? We can say quiz summary. Then we're still gonna get the same statistic. So I want to add another timer on method, maybe on method find level by ID. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna copy this method like I did with the other one. Then I'm gonna say quiz level timer dot record. So I'm gonna do pretty much the same thing I did, and also I'm gonna do this. Then I'm gonna run this code. So what we are also doing here, we wanna time the code, the endpoint that retrieves the level by ID. So if I come here, so levels, so level by ID, I'm gonna say level 1, level 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've called this method I think 5 times if my calculations are not accurate. Then what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go back and do some metrics, see what metrics we have now that I have changed. So we see now we have some new values here. So let's put some tag also, tag source level summary. So this is another way of querying your metrics. So this approach, as you can see in the code, that is intrusive. We are mixing metrics collection with business logic, and we don't want that. So in the next video, I will show you how you can avoid that.